We will start with the first module from networking concept. The last 4 weeks, we were trying to make sure that everyone is clear about the basics of networking, because everything we would do here, it will be related to whatever you studied before. Okay, so let me share the screen. Okay, so first 2 modules, actually, we will not study them. The first few modules of this networking concept, or CCNA2, switching, routing, and wireless essentials, we don't study them because simply these are the revision we did already about how to configure a switch. My advice to you, try to go through this module by yourself. Some of the configuration I didn't do simply because you're supposed to know them, how to do the password, how to configure the message of the day, few of these configuration mode. But we already talked about the general, about the different mode in configuration mode, general configuration mode, and all these operating system for the switch. Now, some of the things also we didn't mention is about the switch and how it is functioning, like the CPU, the RAM, and all these things. You can read here, because if you become the network administrator one day, you may need to know this information. For example, how to do how to update the operating system, or how to back up the startup configuration file, or all these things like administrative things. Another thing I didn't mention, and this one usually when we are in the lab, we can see it. If you have a Cisco switch, there are some lights. You need to understand them. But since we are not in the lab yet, it's fine. However, these lights, each of them is checking at the beginning. When you switch on the switch, you will see the lights on and off, trying to double check that all the ports are working. The duplix, meaning can the port send and receive at the same time? It would check it also. It would check the speed, check the lights, the CPU, make sure that the system is working. So every light of here is an indication of what's happening inside the switch. You can see this table. You can go to it in the future in case you need to know why certain light is blinking. The other one is orange color. Here they call it amber. Okay, or it's a green, or sometimes it's even off. Off doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just simply mentioning that there's no issue there. So these lights on and off can help you to know the situation of your switch. I'll skip this chapter as I mentioned, because the main configuration you would do them already. It's like to change the host name, to know the different operations you can do. And to use the SSH, this one, better to do it in the lab, inshallah. To do the password, this is how we can make the password. You can enable secret class, and then you set a password. Anyone want to access from, or to write enable, it will be asked about the password in order to enter the privilege mode. So that's simply, you can see this one by yourself. This is module 1, just talking about the switch, because the switch, again, is the main device we'll be using in this course. The other course, if you are taking networking concept, we base on routers. In networking concept, switches are not even mentioned at all. But here, everything will be done at the switch. Now for the switch, there are some terms. Also, you're supposed to study it in computer networking. Not sure if you covered that or not. Usually they are at the end of the end of computer networking syllabus. So some of the lectures, they just skip it because it's theoretical thing. For example, frame forwarding, how we studied that one, if you remember, the table, the MAC address table, how it will be formed. how there will be a table to link every MAC address to the port is connected to, and how that will be formed in general. We talked about that. Now, when the switch receives any message, there are two ways. Either it is called store and forward switching, meaning that the Cisco switch would take the entire frame, look at it, check there's no error, then it will send it. Okay. Some of the, remember, any frame could be many bytes. So it will wait all the bytes to be received, maybe 1,500 bytes to be received, store them, everything completed, check, no errors, everything is fine, then it will forward it. That's store and forward. But the problem with this method, it's having some delay. So if you have a voice or video, you may go for the next one, cut through switch. Simply whatever received, just check at that moment, everything is fine, and immediately send it to the destination. You don't have to receive the entire frame in order to check it. Get the bytes, send it directly. Don't wait for the next one. So these two affect a lot how application work. Usually we do it the cut through. We prefer that one if we have real-time messages. However, Cisco switching, we usually use store and forward switching. Okay, now for this one, you can see broadcast domains. Yeah, simply module 2, nothing a lot to cover there. Now we come to the main topic of this networking concept course, which is the VLAN. VLAN, virtual local area network. So virtual local area network, simply we are trying to manage our network in a better way. For the time being, we know how to make a network, how to make small LANs talk together, subnetting, VLSM, all these things we know how to do. But this course is about how to do a better network that will be managed better, perform better, not less delay, higher throughput. Again, the difference between throughput and bandwidth. Bandwidth is how much data you can handle. Throughput is how much data you are using, or what is the percentage of the bandwidth you are using already. You can have 8-lane highway, but at the end, there's only one car or two are passing by. That's not a good utilization of that highway. So for module, this one, we will talk about the VLANs. Simply, what is VLAN? Virtual Local Area Network. It's a logical connection. It's not something that is physical. You don't distribute or divide or segment the network physically, but you segment it using VLANs. Usually, if I want to have a network or many networks, what I would do is draw some networks. If I want to divide, last time when we did it, what we had a router, right? And each interface of the router would be connected to a switch. Now, each interface, and this is a switch, now we have computers. Okay. This is the physical way of distributing or dividing the network. Here we have different computers connected to a switch, physically connected to a switch. And this one here also, another switch connected to many computers. And this is in real life, this is what we have. For example, now in KICT, we have different floor. Every floor is connected to one switch, and that switch is connected to a network. Now, everything connected to this interface, this is one subnet. You remember when we did the subnetting? In that case, this one, subnet 1. Okay, same thing for the other side. since it's connected to the other interface of the router, we can form subnet 2. This is subnet 2. That's how the usual one will be here. Let's say this is G00, G00, and this one could be G01. Okay, now in real life, we may have this physical connection, but logically, we don't want to distribute it like that. For example, if we talk about different floors, it's like that. However, here I have in this department, for example, or in this level, I have a person who is the HR. A computer used by HR. And this one also, the human resource of this department is here. HR. This is one. Another thing here, maybe we have finance. And this one also is finance. Okay. Now, for many reasons, we may decide that, okay, I want all the finance computers to be connected together. Can you tell me what are the cases why you may put all the finance computer together? Is there any reason, special reason that putting all the finance computers together would be a good idea? What do you think? Any idea why I may put all the finance people in one subnet?
To communicate.
Using the internet, everyone can communicate, right? No issues. If I want they are computers connected, doesn't matter if they are in the one network or different networks. There's another reason we may put the finance people in one virtual network. Anyone can think about a reason? What about security? Do you think finance people, the computers of the finance staff, should be more secured compared to others? Yes, right? They have many confidential, very serious information to save. We cannot simply treat it like the others. If the same security measures we put for the finance, we give it to the HR people, they will not like it. If we ask you that every 5 minutes you have to log in to the system again, HR people will get crazy. They will not like that. If every 5 minutes you have to write the password, that's not a good idea if you are a normal user. If I tell you a lot of security will cause a slow connection. HR people, they want to watch videos maybe. They're afraid they want to see YouTubes or whatever, okay? Video streaming. While the finance people, very slow because of security, HR cannot stand that speed. They want better speed. So sometimes there are reasons make us feel that, okay, although physically they are sitting in the same place, but we need to arrange them in a way that they will look as if they are in the same place. For example, here, finance people, we can put them like in a bubble together, connect them like that. All the finance people having their logical plan. It will look as if they are belonging to the same network. Virtually, they belong to the same network, meaning that the subnet they will be using, the IP address will be using, it will be different. It will be, we can call it finance subnet. Okay. Finance subnet in this case, the IP addresses they have, this one can have the finance here, can have 10.10.10.2, and this one here can have, although it's in another network, but it can have the IP address 10.10.10.3. Okay, they are different networks, but having the IP addresses belonging to the same subnet. That's the virtual LAN. It's like we put all the related devices together. HR now, we can put it another bubble. I know it will look a little bit more messy. Now the HR, we will form a logical subnet only containing HR people with the router, of course, should be involved. Now, these people, this one here, this one, it will look like as if they belong to the same physical network, but they are not. They are different locations, but logically they are same subnet. Okay, that's the main idea. I know it's a little bit confusing at the beginning. Never mind. Let's see. We have here in the PowerPoint. So simply, sometimes we need to virtually or logically connect devices which are not in the same location. These devices, now, for example, this building, if you look at it, you can see there's a switch for every floor, floor 1, 2, 3, and all the devices in that floor, they are connected physically. You see the link here, connected together. However, because we want to manage things in a different way, all the IT staff in every floor are connected in virtual LAN 2 for IT people. All of them will have the subnet 10.0.2.0. Now, in the same floor, we will have someone from the different VLAN. He's HR, so we put it inside VLAN for HR. The IP address here, 10.0.3.0/24. We know that 10.0.20 is not the same subnet as 10.0.3.0/24. They are different subnets, but in the same physical location, we will have different subnets because virtually they belong to different groups. So why we do that? As I said, you want to do different groups connected together, maybe IT department alone, HR, sales. Each of them will have different configuration, so you put them in groups, virtual groups. Now, also broadcast will be minimized in that case. You will not send to everyone because the VLANs will be separating these virtual LANs. Each VLAN will have its unique range of IP address, and the broadcast domain will be a smaller one. You don't send a broadcast message everyone receive in the company or in the floor. Only those who belong to the same VLAN will get the broadcast IP address. So that's the benefit of VLAN. Simply, we want to design the network in a way that we can easily manage it. We can separate the groups. For example, if you talk about IIUM now, IIUM, how many Wi-Fi do you have? If you open your network, I'm not inside IIUM, but if you check the networks list in your device now, what you will see? You will see Wi-Fi for the staff, Wi-Fi for the students, Wi-Fi for guests. Why do you think we have these separated Wi-Fi? Why don't we have IIUM Wi-Fi? Everyone use that Wi-Fi. What do you think?
Would be more secure.
I feel network speed and security.
Speed and security, yeah, that's mainly what the issue. We want to make sure that, for example, guest, we don't know who's entering IIUM. Could be anyone. A bad guy could be there, a hacker, right? And we cannot track them also. So, but we need it because some visitors will come to IIA. We cannot give them like a permanent IP address, permanent account number. We just want something temporary. So the guest will be a good idea for them. When we talk about staff and students, by the way, staff Wi-Fi is not much better than students' Wi-Fi in terms of speed, but also separating them to secure the some of the systems we are using. Some of our staffs can access, for example, AMAD database. We don't want the students to access the AMAD database. Some of the staff, maybe the HR, the finance, they can access finance division database. All the money are there. Of course, you don't want students who are trying to play around, or some of them are experiencing, like trying to see how to hack this system or that. You don't want them to get involved in that. So separating them, it will make it easier to make sure security measures, speed, control, management, all these things will be easier to separate. A little bit more configuration steps you have to do as a network administrator at the beginning, but later you will find that network management will be easier. Now, again, why we want to do it, smaller broadcast domain, because now if I want to send, let's say this faculty here, let's do it here. Okay, now if HR want to send a message, a broadcast message, this HR want to send a broadcast message. Broadcast, we know that everyone will receive that message. Who will receive it? It will not be sent to a normal staff or to finance. It will go only to the one in HR. That message will go specifically to all the devices belong to the same VLAN. In that case, the others will not be bothered by that. Think about it like the WhatsApp groups we are having. Now, if the admin staff put everything they have in a group where all students can see, we will be in trouble. First of all, a lot of messages will come. It will bother everyone. Another thing, you will hear some news you are not supposed to hear. As a student or as academic staff, HR talking about, oh, we want to hire someone or we want to fire one staff and all these things. It's not supposed to be for everyone. So same thing here. Finance want to send, only finance people will get it. That's it. No one else. Even if they belong physically to different subnets, but logically they belong to each other, so they can talk to each other. So that's one of the main reasons. Broadcast domain, not everyone will get it. Smaller number of devices will get. Security, of course, it will be much better because not everyone will get the message. IT efficiency, it will be better because here you don't have to buy a switch or a router for every VLAN. You have your own switch. Now, if you want to divide the network into 1,000 VLANs, you can do that without buying hardwares. You just do it virtually by configuring the switches. Not thousands, we have a limited number of VLANs, we'll see later. But in general, you don't have to buy extra devices to do this segmentation of the network. You don't have to buy a router or a switch. So that's more efficient. Another thing, reduce cost. Again, no need to buy more devices. Better performance, because if we have less or smaller broadcast domain, it means the network will not be busy with too much control messages no one is using. To reduce traffic, and the bandwidth can be used more efficiently. And management, of course, will be easier in that case. So these are all the benefits of using VLAN. And now, if we want to see the VLANs, we have different types of them. I will open my packet tracer to show you that we have some, what we call, default VLANs. Even the switch, we didn't do anything, we just switched it on. It will have these VLANs already inside the switch. So this is my packet tracer. I would take any switch, just a new one, switch it on, go to command line interface. Of course, first it will be loading. What it will be loading, this is the operating system. You can check this one. When we talked about module 1 and 2, we talk about where will the operating system be and how the booting process will be done using the flash. Okay, so now I'm here in the switch. What I want to do, just go to the privilege mode by typing enable. I'm in the privilege mode, type show. VLAN brief. Okay. So I didn't do anything yet. I just started. When I'm here, you can see now some of the VLANs already there. And every VLAN will have a number. This is VLAN 1, VLAN 1002, 1003, 4, 5. They are already there. Every VLAN should have a name. So VLAN 1 is called the default. And every port we have in that switch should belong to one of these VLAN. You can see F01 here, 2, 3, 4, up to 24, even Gigabit Ethernet 01 and 02 are here. So this is the default case. Everything is here. Even we didn't create the VLAN, it's already there. So these VLANs, what are these? Let's talk about them. The default VLAN, VLAN 1. By default, it's VLAN, the one used for every switch, it will be there. If we don't change anything, every port, F01, F02, every one of them will be inside VLAN 1. That's the default case. It's a native one. We will talk about the native later. Also, it is the default management VLAN. When we talk about management VLAN, we are talking about the VLAN we use in order to connect to SSH, secure shell, or to connect to Telnet. These two wires or these two technologies, we use them in order to connect to our switch or router remotely. Because in real life, when we talk about this switch, I want to talk to it. Open the physical appearance of the switch, we look at it, there's no keyboard, there's no screen. So how can we talk to it? We are clicking on CLI, but in real device, there's nothing. So the way to communicate with the switch between us, the users, and the switch is to bring an end device, this PC, put it here, then connect them. To connect them for management purpose, we have to use the console. Console, if you remember in the lab, it is the color of the console cable. It's a light blue cable. Having the header is a little bit different. One header is, we call it the RS232. You connect it to your computer. The other header, it's looking like the internet port header. So simply there's a specific port to put, it's called console. So you have to be in that specific location. Look at this one here. You will see the port called console there. If you are in the lab, physical lab, you will see the console there. This is how you connect. Now, when you do that in your computer, switch on or open a software, terminal software. The one we use is PuTTY, the one we use in the lab, and I think maybe you used it before. But here they put their own one. Just go to terminal, OK. You will find yourself talking to the switch. That's the ideal way. You will be inside the lab or inside the switch room, having that cable connected to the device. But in real life, after you've configured that, you configure the SSH. SSH and Telnet, it means that you are from your house, middle of the night, want to configure the switch, which is in campus, in IIUM campus, you will not go physically there. From far away, remotely, you can type an IP address. Suddenly, you'll find yourself inside the switch. Of course, you have to have the password and some of the details there. And from far away, from home, you can connect to IIUM switch or router. Configure them, and then everything will be okay. You don't have to go physically there. So these are the SSH and shell. Now, when we talk about having VLAN 1 as the default management VLAN, it means this is the one to use for SSH and Telnet. The difference between SSH and Telnet, can anyone tell me what are the differences? Do you know? We have SSH, we have Telnet connection. What are the differences, the main difference? Okay, Can you raise your hand if you are still awake? I know in the morning, online class, most of you will be sleeping. Raise your hand if you're still awake. 6, 8. Okay. Okay, less than the half sleeping. Not bad. Okay. Have you ever heard about SSH and Telnet? What's the differences between them? I have PuTTY here. Let's check the PuTTY. This is PuTTY, the software we will be using in order to connect to any device, like a switch or router. So to connect to them, you can see we have an option here called SSH, or I can go to other, then I can choose Telnet. For SSH, if I write, it will ask me for IP address. It means that the switch should have an IP address. But you remember when we said switch never deal with IP addresses. This is the only exception. If we use VLAN, it's virtual. It's not real thing. So I can give the VLAN 1 an IP address. In order for SSH, I can type here 192.168.3.5. Let's say that's the switch. And then when I click on open, I will get inside that specific device. However, if I cannot do that, I don't have the IP address, I can use the Telnet. SSH and Telnet, both of them, I need the IP address actually, or I can use serial. What is serial? This is having the cable, the console cable. I'm in the location connected directly to the switch, then I can use it. That's the difference. Now, why SSH and Telnet? SSH, every single thing you send through this connection will be encrypted. Telnet, it means that it will not be encrypted. So it's not that secure. But we still use it because sometimes you are locked out. Okay. SSH having an issue you cannot connect to. You cannot be in the physical location. So the only option is to connect to Telnet. But of course, you have to put a very strong password there. But the messages you send, if you send the password, anything can be hacked. Someone can see it. And then, of course, you'll be in trouble. So let's go back for now. VLAN 1, if you try to delete it, it cannot be deleted. Okay, VLAN 1, the default one, you cannot delete it, even if you try. So this is one thing. But we have more options. Now for VLANs, other types of VLANs, we have data VLAN. Data VLAN, simply, it will send the traffic generated by the user. If you have email, web traffic, not the voice or video, no, that's different. Data here, anything except voice and video. Why do you think we separate voice and video from other data? Why do you think it's a good idea to separate normal data from voice and video? Anyone? Can you think about a reason why we want to separate them? Okay. Data, normal data, text or image, they are okay to be delayed a little bit, but voice cannot be delayed. Cannot have delay, sorry. Okay. For example, now I'm asking you a question and there is a delay. I don't know if you will answer in 5 minutes, in 1 minute, half a minute. How much should I wait for the voice delay? So it's a problem if you have a voice data send with the text. Text can be, it's okay to delay it a little bit, but the voice cannot be delayed, should be sent directly. But the problem with the voice is very heavy. Now, if you have any file, which is video or voice, you look at the size of that file, it's much higher than if you have only a notepad or an image. I think that's something like we know it now by default. If you have only text, maybe 1 mega. But if you find any video, I don't think I have a video here. Pictures also will be very small things. But if you go and check any video you have on your computer, no music also, okay, then you will find that size of that data of video or voice will be much larger. So we separate them. We put the data alone and the voice alone, because also sometimes we have to put some extra protocols to make sure the quality of the video streaming is better than the data. Data can be, for example, we care about the security because the data can be the password. Okay, voice and video is a little bit different. So we separate them. We don't put them in the same VLAN. The normal data will be data VLAN. We have native VLAN. This is used in trunks. What is trunk? Is simply the connection between one switch to another switch. If you go here, where is that? Here, you can see we have switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3, all of them connected to a router. Now, between one switch to another switch, we call this trunk. And the trunk should have a native, different VLANs, not VLAN 1, not VLAN 2, should be a separated one. All the trunks between switches should have native VLANs. We'll talk in details about that later. Why we need that one? Because for this one, we will use one protocol, IEEE standard called 802.1q. This one should be used in the trunk in order to allow that specific link to handle the data from all VLANs. Now, management VLAN, this is, as I mentioned, is for SSH and Telnet connectivity. So we have that type. And the other one, as I mentioned, is voice VLAN. We separate the voice from the data. So if you separate it, make sure the bandwidth will be used better way. Normal data will not take a lot of bandwidth, but the voice or the video would take all the bandwidth, affecting the others. High quality of service priority, because voice should not have any delay. We should make sure the quality is good, or the other side, the receiver of the data, will not understand what's happening. So when we say the connection is good, now if I ask you a question now, right now, and the delay is 150 milliseconds, okay, I will start noticing that there is some delay. It's just like if I ask you now any question, if the delay between me saying the words and you hearing it is more than 150 milliseconds, you will notice something wrong with our connection. So if I say now, raise your hand. Can you raise your hand if you are awake? See, the response will have some delay until you start, although you click directly, but that's because there's some delay. If the delay is 150 milliseconds, it's acceptable. But if it's if it's more, it will be annoying. I will ask the question, I will not receive the answer, maybe it will be bothering all of us. Human ear can notice something, there's some delay. So 150 milliseconds is acceptable as a delay for voice or video, but more than that will not be good. But if you have a normal data, doesn't matter. If I send you a message now on WhatsApp, you receive it 1 minute after I send it, you may not even know there was a delay. Should be fine. Okay, so let's try to check this packet tracer. You don't have to do anything. Let's see what we'll have if we have VLANs. That will be 315. We'll open Net Academy. Problem with Net Academy, even if I log in before the class to make sure no delay, to log me out. Okay, 3, then I go to 3, 1, and 5. Let's see what will happen. Oh, not this one. 3, 1, 4. Okay, I would download the packet tracer. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to submit anything because we want to understand what VLAN, how VLAN would change anything. This class is only theoretical. Inshallah, next class when we do the practical one, and see how interesting it will be. Okay. So this is the network we are having. How many computers? Too many of them. Okay. However, these computers, they are already, okay, just to, you see, when you open any activity for Packet Tracer, you will have the activity on a separated window, the description of what you have to do, and then you have the working space. So usually I'd like to make it one beside each other to read and do whatever requested. Now, this is the one. You can see we have one switch, and that switch was used to connect many computers. I think, if I'm not mistaken, these are 24 computers. But because we want to manage this one in a better way, they decided that, okay, let's have some of them as VLAN 20. Their IP address is 192.168.1.17 until 24/27, okay? The other one is VLAN 30 and VLAN 10. Now, if we want to see, saying that what we have to do, use ping to generate traffic, click on PC0, this is PC0, and click desktop command prompt, okay? And now we want to ping. Before I do that, I'll move to simulation mode. In simulation mode, I got this question. Some of you said, I get a lot of traffic there. When you try to do the simulation mode, you get a lot of traffic. Make sure that you delete the traffic because you can see all these different protocols. We don't want them all. Delete them, edit filters. Then from here, choose what kind of protocol you want to see the packets related to it. I want the ICMP since I will do ping. ICMP, Internet Control Messaging Protocol. One of its messages is the ping. So when I activate that, I go to PC0, and in there I try to ping 192.168.1.8. That 1.8, is it belonging to the same network? Yes, you can see from here that 1.8 is what we have in PC7. Let's double check that. It is in the same VLAN. So now let's try to ping that. Ping 192.168.1.8. Let's see if that will be received. Okay, so push it first. You see an envelope will be sent to that switch. Then the switch sent directly to PC7. Then you get the reply, and the reply will appear in your command prompt. Again, if you keep doing that, you'll get the second message, third message, and the replies will be received as well. So the first step is done. Now let me try, okay, clear event list. Let's try to ping someone who is, let's say, .1.17, different VLAN, VLAN 20. Can we do that? See what will happen. If I push it, it will reach the switch. We would not receive any response. Why? Because this VLAN, the source and destination, they belong to two different VLANs. They cannot talk to each other. VLAN 30 can talk to VLAN 30 only. VLAN 20 devices can talk only to their VLAN's devices, VLAN 20 only. So this is the way we separate the devices from each other. If we try to ping, it will not work. Now we want to do something else, something different. Okay, forget about that one. I want to create a device at complex. If you look at these envelopes here, forgot which one is at complex PDU. This one, I think. That's simple. No, we add complex, the one open envelope there in the icon. Click on that and go to any of these devices. For here, it's suggesting also PC0. As you click on it, now you can write your own message, meaning put whatever you want there. So I want to send a broadcast message, 255, 255. Do you remember broadcast message we said long time ago? It is a message to be sent to everyone, and the IP address is 255, 255 means everyone. Doesn't matter which network, just send that message. Source IP address, I think we can ignore it. Sequence number can be 1. And one shot time is 0. Create PDU. Now, create PDU. What did I do? I think what we have to do, click create PDU, create PDU, this test broadcast. Okay. Let me just close this one. This. Clear everything first, and then we can generate this one again, sorry. So here I do 255, because when it was there, it was annoying, you cannot see, 255. Sequence number is 1, this one is 0, and the type of the message is pink. You can create different types. If you are a person who like to create attacks, cyber attacks, these kind of protocols will help you to generate your own attack if you understand them. However, let's create that and try to push. Okay. Try to push. Don't get anything. I think I'm doing something wrong. Let's see. Show all non-ICP, complex PDU, and then float the mouse over that query pointer. Changes to an envelope with the plus sign. Okay. Click save as a source. Create complex. We created that. Enter these. Then the PDU settings. I did that one. Start the list. Okay. Click create PDU. This one, create PDU, I think. Nope. I did that one. Simulation panel list. It also appears as PDU list. Capture forward. I don't know why it's not working. Simply what I want to do is to create a message that will be sent to everyone, but I don't know why it's not working. Since that my RAM cannot handle all the message, all the traffic it will be generated. Create PDU. Create it. Maximum no event has been reached. It cannot handle that. So we wasted some time here. This is the problem. My CMP is not. Let's try now. Send the message. It's a broadcast message. Who will receive it? Broadcast message means that it should be sent to everyone. Look at who's receiving it. It's not everyone. Only those who are in VLAN 30 will receive the message. That's what we are talking about, reducing the broadcast domain. So let's stop that one, start a new one. What I will do now, I will create another one here. Also 255, meaning I want everyone to receive it. Okay, sequence number is 1, and the one shot time is 0. Create PD. Now let's see what will happen. Oh, it's just sending that message. Come on. I want just to stop that one, the old one process, so we can go to the new one. Okay, now let's see. PC23 send a message. Who will receive it? The orange color, only PC23. So everyone can send only to its own group of devices, its own VLAN, not everyone. Now, if I want to change that, we can. Let's try to do this. I will go, let's stop this headache. Don't use it anymore. Okay. No more creating messages. I want just to top the switch. I go to the switch. In the command line interface, I try to see the VLANs we have. I type show VLAN brief. And let's see what do we have there. You can see I have VLAN 1. It's the default one. Gigabit Ethernet 01 and 02 are there. Then I have VLAN 10. This is the faculty. Could be the staff, for example. And then some of the devices are, some of the ports are there. VLAN 20 for students, different ports are there. But at the end, all the ports we have in the switch, they should belong to one of these VLANs. Now, if I try to remove this VLAN, delete the VLAN. So what I do, go to config terminal. And in there, I type no VLAN 20, no VLAN 10, no VLAN 13. Do show. When we type do show, we want to see something when we are in the configuration mode. So I want to see the VLAN brief now. Let's see if we still have the VLANs. Now you can see that we have only the default one, but our ports no more belong to any VLAN. So I have to put them there in the VLAN. If I don't put them in the VLAN, it will cause a problem. So that's one thing we would do next class, not now, how to return the VLANs again. But the idea of this activity just to show that the connection will be done only inside the VLAN, will not go to other VLANs. I hope it's clear. You can try it by yourself. Just follow the steps. Should be clear, inshallah. Okay, let's continue. Now, VLANs in multi-switched environment. We said that VLAN 10 can send only to VLAN 10. VLAN 20 can send only to VLAN 20. So if I want to draw here, just give me a second. I want to draw. Okay. Can you see my drawing? Because sometimes I don't know why Microsoft Team will not let me draw. Can you see the line I'm drawing?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So if I want to send VLAN 10, it will be only able to send to VLAN 10, okay? So they are not, maybe not in the same location, different location. However, they can send VLAN 10 to VLAN 10. But between the VLANs, we have switches. So these switches should be able to send VLAN. Otherwise, you send here and then it will stuck, cannot send it. Now, if I have another computer want to send, let's say VLAN 30, want to send to VLAN 30, also it will pass by the same tunnel, the switches, right? It will pass by the switches. So that means the connection between one switch to another switch should have different treatment. F01 here, this one, and F01 here, they should belong to VLAN 10 and VLAN 30 together in order to be able to send the messages for VLAN 10 and VLAN 30. Now let's see VLAN 20 want to send a message. Also, it will pass by F018. From F018, the switch will send it to F01. Now F01 belongs to which VLAN? If it's VLAN 10, that means This is VLAN 20, cannot pass. If it's VLAN 30, it cannot pass. If it's VLAN 20, it will pass. However, the other VLANs cannot. That's why the connection between the switches should be able. These specific ports, F03 and F01 here, they should belong to all VLANs. They cannot be under VLAN 10. They cannot be under VLAN 20, cannot be under VLAN 1 also. That's why we have to do something we call trunks. What is trunk? Meaning simply those ports who will be connecting different switches together, they will have different treatment. They should be like tunnels, allowing everyone to pass by. So we have to configure them in different way. So in that case, you can see it will allow more than one VLAN, 10, 20, 30, doesn't matter. You can pass the switch using F01 in switch 1, F01 in switch 2, and F03 in switch 1, F03 in switch 3, whatever ports connecting the switches. Okay, now this one supporting all VLANs, and we have to put IEEE standard there to allow different VLANs. So if I have here, if I go to my, let me delete this one. Okay, so now if I'm here and I want to connect the switches, I have how many switches? 2 switches or 3 switches. When I connect them now for networking concept, from now on, you cannot just simply connect devices without looking at them. Since switch and switch will be connected, we will use crossover. Here, if I decide F014, I'll connect it to F01. Usually I will ask you just choose the same number, not to get confused. F014 there should be F014 here. Not should be, better to be F014 also. And here, let's say you want to do F015. Make the other side also F015. Now these links, these ports, F014 and 15, they should have what we call trunk configuration, because these don't belong to a specific VLAN. Now this switch here can connect to this computer. We have to know from now on which computer this VLAN belongs to. Let's say PC 0, we want to be in VLAN 10. The configuration for the VLAN will not be at the switch, at the computer. It will be at F01. F01, here we go to it, the one connected to the computer, tell it that you belong to VLAN 10. Now, if I have another computer, let's say this one here, and it is also connected physically to the same switch as Ethernet to, let's say, F02. However, this one I want it to be VLAN 20. How it will be VLAN 20? Not by changing anything at the computer, but at the switch. I would go there, go to F0, enable configure terminal. I'll go to interface F01. When I'm inside the interface, I tell it you are VLAN 1. VLAN 10. Then I go to interface F02 and tell that one you belong to VLAN 20. Okay, so the configuration, all the VLANs configuration will be done at the switch. That's why here I have to go to F014 also and do the configuration for the trunking. Trunking again means that the connection between different switches should have special treatment to allow all the packets to pass by. Trunking simply will allow broadcast messages to pass, allow normal unicast messages to pass, everything will pass by the switches. Now, if we go here, okay, I already mentioned that. How that will be discovered? Because inside the messages, when you use IEEE 802.1q, then inside every frame, you will get what we call the tag. tag is extra fields. These fields will help to identify the VLAN. When the frame came inside the switch, this tag will be checked. Check the VLAN ID. This is the last one, the green one here. Check that one. If that one is equal to the port, you will be allowed to go. If it's not equal to the port, the frame will not be allowed to pass by. So this one is 12 bits. 12 bit, if you check the calculator, if we have 2 to power 12, sorry, mistake. If I have 2, 22, 2 only, 2 to power 12, it will give you 4096. So that's why the number of VLANs in any network you have cannot exceed 4096, because inside the tag, the number of bits assigned for VLAN ID is 12 bits. I'm not sure if you are getting it. If you have any question, if everything is clear or not, I cannot see your faces, unfortunately, when we have online class. So let me ask, is everything clear? Can you write in the chat box? Is everything clear or you are confused? Clear. I got only one clear. I don't know what the rest. Okay, so let's see next. Because of what we said, we have the VLAN. Since we will do trunk, in that case, trunk should activate the standard. You remember when we talked about IEEE, it's an organization that will make the standard or the protocol to make all the devices speak in the same language. So this standard A021Q, it will create that header inside the frame. Okay, when you have that header, it means to tell the switch, check the trunking. If I am belonging to a trunk, it means all VLANs should be allowed. All the frames from different computers will be allowed to go. So PC1 here, try to send anything. Between switches is trunk, so it doesn't matter. It's going to VLAN 1, VLAN 2, doesn't matter. At the end, it will pass by. PC1 belongs to VLAN 1, it means only VLAN 1 will get it, not everyone. But it will pass by all the switches. That's what we mean by native VLAN. Native VLAN is a specific VLAN we would do in every switch to assign the trunk ports or the ports connecting switches to that specific VLAN. In that one, we will activate A02.1Q. Not all ports will have that standard. Only the trunking ports will have that standard. Okay, so that's one thing. I know you are confused, even if you are not saying it, but we will see it, inshallah, when we do the configuration. Things will be clearer, inshallah. Now, for voice, also, we need to put a special protocols for the voice and video. We have to activate what we call cost of service, which is one of the values necessary to make sure the quality of the video and the audio is good. Not too many, not too much delay. Give the frame a priority to let it go faster. It will not wait. So this is another thing we have to activate if we have voice. If we have a trunk, we have to activate the standard A02.1Q. If we have voice or video, we have to activate cost of service. We will talk about it in detail next class, inshallah. Now, if you check inside the port, you can see verify if there's a VLAN. You can't. Okay, if one, where is that one? If one of the ports, this one F010, right? Connected, this is VLAN 10, connected to F01. VLAN 10, connected to F01. This F01 cannot belong to to VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 at the same time. We are not allowed to have one port assigned to do two different VLAN. So if I type do show VLAN brief now, you will see that every port is here at VLAN 1. They cannot be at VLAN 1 and at VLAN 2 at the same time. Cannot. If you remove it from VLAN 1, it will go to VLAN 2. It will be removed from here. Except if you have voice, you are allowed to have one port F01 inside VLAN 1 and create a voice VLAN that also have F01. Because, you know, there's no computer sending only data without voice or voice without data. So we can have two VLANs for one port only if there's data. One of them is data, the other one is voice VLAN. But we cannot have VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, both of them data VLANs, and assign them to the same port. So let's check this one also. 329. Let's see, what do we have in 329? 329. Actually, it's 328. Let's check this packet tracer. Maybe it will investigate the different VLANs there. Okay, we have too many devices there. Let me just decrease the font. It's very big. That's why you cannot see well. Let's make this one 10. This one maybe CLI is good. General interface, let's make it 10 also. Okay, smaller writings. Okay, let's close this one. Put this one aside. I want to see the activity and the network at the same time. So you see this network, or still we cannot see. A lot of labeling there. Let's reduce the size again. I do the big size when we are in the class because the projector, you cannot see it well. But here, since we are here, I believe if I make it 8, should be fine for you. Not really, but no options. Okay. So here you can see we have different computers, different switches. And we have a table in the activity telling us what's inside this network. You can see we have 3 different switches, and these switches are having IP address. If you remember, since the beginning, we said switch should not have IP address, except for if you have VLAN. So this VLAN here is what we call management VLAN. IP address can be assigned to virtual LAN, not to a real port. If you try to go to the computer, to the switch, CLI, sorry, and try to assign config terminal, we try to go to one of the interface F01, and put IP address, whatever IP address you want to put. Let's say 10.10.10.10, 255.255.255.0. So tell you, what do you mean by IP address? Cannot even understand what is IP address. Switch cannot read IP addresses. So if you see IP address here, it should be belonging to the VLAN, virtual. That's why, not a real port. So if we check here with this network, what we want to do, ping from PC1 to PC6. Where's PC1? This is PC1. Okay, I'm going to change it. The IP address for PC1 is 172.17.10. Want us to ping to PC6. This is 6. 17.30.26. Okay. In the simulation mode. Okay, they want to see the ARP, Address Resolution Protocol, and ICMP. I want to ping from here. Let's see what we will get. Command prompt, ping, PC6, 172.17.30. I think it's 30, okay, that's 26. Enter. Let's see what will happen now. If I try to push, there's 2 messages. one message go from PC1 to the switch. The switch will send it to the other switch. Now, who got that one? PC7 also got that message. Why do you think PC7 also got the message? We are sending to PC6. Why do you think that envelope went also to PC7? Anyone? Can you tell me in the chat box? I sent a message. I tried to ping PC6 here. However, PC7 got also the message, and no one else except 6 and 7 got the message. Why? Exactly, because PC7 also in VLAN 10. So when VLAN 10 tried to ping, at the beginning, it doesn't know where is exactly the, remember when we talk about the MAC address, we don't know it. So simply it was sent to everyone. So everyone in VLAN 10 will get a copy of that message. But who will reply? Everyone VLAN 10, this one also VLAN 10. Okay. Who replied? No one replied. Why? So VLAN 7 got it, and PC7 and PC4 got it. Because again, PC1 belongs to VLAN 10. It cannot talk to anyone else except VLAN 10. Any message sent by PC1 will go only to those who belong to the same VLAN. The computer you want to ping, it is in VLAN 30. So it will never get that message. And if you try to see the message you are getting, it's request timeout. I'm trying to send it, but I cannot reach because they are isolated. VLAN 10 cannot talk to VLAN 30. Okay. So if you keep doing that, every time the message will be received only by VLAN 10 computers. And the destination we want to reach, we will never get it. If we want to get it, let's try from PC3 to ping. Sorry, the buffer full. This is annoying. Let's try from PC3, which is in VLAN 30. We try to ping PC6. Let's see if we will get any response from there. Do you think we will get or not? I'll try to ping from PC3. I'll try to ping PC6. 17.30.26. So let's see what will happen now when we try to send a message. A message will go to the switch. Switch, look at the ports it's having. The message came from VLAN 30. I will send it only to VLAN 30 or to trunk. So the other switch got it. Now only VLAN 30 and trunk can get a copy. So who's in VLAN 30? This one in VLAN 30. Get a copy, but it will ignore it because it's not the destination. This one, the switch, got the message. Now it will check who's in VLAN 30. PC6 in VLAN 30, get a copy. Since the message is to PC6, it will send a reply. The reply will go directly to the source. So I hope now it's clear what's happening, how these things will be sent. Only the switch every time we check. Okay, I got a message from VLAN 20. Let's see who's in VLAN 20. Get a copy. Who's trunk? Also get a copy. So that's simply what this activity trying to show. I believe, okay, the time is up. Now, next class, inshallah, we will talk about VLAN configuration. We will configure this VLAN to show how to do it, because when we do it, inshallah, step by step together, it will help you to understand the concepts. And actually, it will be so interesting. Next class is fun. Okay, we will do it together and then you will submit it. So make sure next class you will be here in the class because I'll give you an assignment to submit, maybe more than one. Okay, so inshallah we do it together until it's very clear to everyone. If you have any question now, or about any other thing, please let me know. We'll stop here. I'll stop sharing. Let me know if you have any question. I'll check iTalim again to make sure that the PowerPoint is there, because sometimes I forgot to unhide it. Do you have any question? Is everything clear?
No question, madam.
No question. Okay. So don't forget the attendance. I'll see you inshallah on Thursday. Okay. Can I ask how many of you will go to this Festival of Ideas in Putrajaya? Anyone is going there? Okay. 2 of you. The rest of you, are you aware that they assigned 400 seats for IIU, for KICT students? If you want to go, you can register and go there. I think I was sent, someone sent us the link. I will send it to you in case it's
It is
still
already
open.
closed, madam.
Oh, already closed. Okay. Sorry to hear that. But I got the message yesterday. I didn't know about it earlier. Or maybe they sent to me, but I was busy with this academic advising, many messages and emails, so I didn't notice that. Anyhow, some of you will go there. So I will do, since 2 of you only will go, I will do the class as usual online. There will be a recording. You can see the recording later. Is that okay, brother? And for the assignment, I will give you until midnight to submit the assignment. So I believe in that case, you will not lose the chance of following with your friends. The recording will be there. So just try to do the assignments and submit it after you come back from Putrajaya. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so check iTalim. In iTalim, inshallah, I'll have the PowerPoint. It will be uploaded there. Also, it's already uploaded. Let me just double check that. You can leave if you want. For me, I'm just trying to make sure that you have all the materials you need for this class. Okay, so because I always forget to unhide the PowerPoint, and then students will be like, can we have the PowerPoint? It's very annoying. Okay, so VLANs. See, it's there, but I forgot to unhide it. So the topic is there, the PowerPoint is there. Also, I activated, I put some video there. The submissions, I will hide them later. We will talk about them next class, inshallah. In case you want to read a little bit, my advice to you from now, I have to say that, please make sure you read and understand the theory, because students, they will like the idea of doing the practical thing. They know how to do the packet tracer, but in the final exam, they will suffer to answer questions, which is not a good thing. Okay, so make sure you understand the theory. Of course, I don't expect you to memorize it. Just understand how things are working. If you get any question, you can answer. Thank you very much, and Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, so seems that no more questions. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.